Hey, this is Jeff over here from Gas Donkey. I'm working on this little bugger right here. Anyways, so I got this here is a lawnmower for an axle. I wanted it because I decided to use this because, as you can see there, it is cast iron, has greasable fittings, has a 5/8 shaft, and it can pivot. This is the front end. You can tell by the tie rod. It's all centered up. I like the way that the camber is like in reverse. But right now, I'm working on, I gotta see if these gears that I got, this one, to put on the back wheel. It is 18 tooth for number 40 chain. I mean, they should work because it's supposed to have like 1,600 and close to 50 somewhere in there. I don't remember the exact numbers, but that's how much tensile strength it's supposed to have. And I'm going to be running this little 197. I'm going to do a little bit more modifications to it. It used to be a generator engine, so that should work pretty good. Pretty much just stock. It has decent amount of torque. It moved Mighty Max around before I decided to, or Mini Max, before I decided to name it Mini Max, because I put the V-twin on there and made it look a little different. Added some weight, more power, it goes a little faster. Now I gotta fit this onto here. Essentially gotta pull this apart. Slam. See if this will fit. It doesn't want to go on, but it looks like all I'm going to have to do is take some paint off there and it'll slide on there nice and tight. It'd probably go on if I forced it on. If I pressed it on or something, it'd probably go on there with the paint. But I need to take the paint off so I can weld it on anyway. It's going to be welded on here. It's a little small for a drive sprocket, but I kind of want it. Yeah, you'll see. side from the motor go through the shaft. It's going to be right here. Goes as close to this pivot point as I can. That's what this is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Rolling off stuff. Yeah. Pivot. Whoops. Okay. I think that'll work. The other mission is only to build the half shaft. I think it'll work. So, we're doing some thinking about. And I've decided to go with a double shaft for the clutch. I was going to set up a manual clutch, but being how this is supposed to be for my wife and my son, it needs to have an automatic clutch. So I have the rest of the clutch parts inside, because that's kind of where I'm doing it. I'll show further into that. I'll get to that. But for now, I just finished up welding up my pieces here. It's going to be the drive sprocket. I guess I got one more to weld up, but I got to let the welder cool down. Got the drive sprocket. It's going to go on the half shaft, which is where the centrifugal clutch is going to be. And then I just welded up this adapter onto this clutch piece after disassembling it from the clutch that it was on. Gotta make sure it's gonna spin the right direction. Yeah, that's gonna be at the end of the bolt. Anyways, okay, so just finished welding it on there. Little crappy welds. They don't look very nice, but whatever. It's flux core, man. They're strong. I know, because they hold this piece together. So, got this welded up. Got this welded up. These two pieces welded up. They go on the shaft. I have my two shafts here. And the bearings are inside. The rest of the parts. I have a couple parts here. It's going to be part of, yeah. Going to be centrifugal with slip capabilities. Because this thing is going to try to haul butt. Right now, grinding up this. Reclaimed this from another project that I was building, I was working on. It was like a buggy. It was supposed to be for plowing the driveway. And I cut the nut that I had welded to the end of this off, so that I can put this back on those shafts, because the whole thing came off of the Cub Cadet, and yeah, just got to go back on that shaft so I can run my motor into this to turn the centrifugal clutch that will then turn the other shaft, well, yeah, turn two shafts into a transmission. The clutch system. It'll work. So, without any further ado, I'm gonna get you set up, and I'm gonna get back to finish grinding this up. I'll let you see that. By the way, don't do anything that I do at home. It's kind of dangerous, and I've been doing this long enough that I would say I'm what you call a professional. Not really, but kinda. So don't do this at home. Do not do what I do. Only do as I say. Wear safety glasses. Wear gloves. Be mindful of your environment, and don't do what I'm doing, standing in a bunch of flammable stuff. About to grind with no safety glasses. Okay, just don't do it. It's not smart. But I gotta finish grinding off the rest of these little nasty welds that are on here. Make sure that it's nice and flat. Grind all those down. Make sure the thing's flat. Gotten pretty good at making things flat with an angle grinder. I don't have a lathe, so, you know, gotta make do with what you got. Well, looks good to me. Nice and flat. Going along the original edge. Just making sure that it lines up. I don't know, I got really good eyesight, so, you know, whatever. Knock me all you want. It works pretty good. Anyways, so that's pretty much the last piece right there. And the rest will be assembled in house. I'll show you my idea now that I got the parts. I still have to wait until I can get the other part drilled. I don't have a 3/4 inch drill bit or drill press, so I'm gonna go to my friend's tomorrow and use his drill press and his 3/4 inch drill to drill out the last two pieces to this concoction, and then it can be thrown on here. I can line everything up, get the motor mounted, and then it's just onto the steering.